Hi everyone, my name is Chris. I'm with the restoration team here at Toronto Region Conservation Authority. I'm going to take you on a little tour of some of the Meadoway. I'm going to talk to you about some of the associated features of the Meadoway and some of the process involved in getting it to the way that is just over near me. So one of the first things I wanted to show you was, well, right here, this is grass. I'm sure you've all seen a lot of that. It's all also a bit yellow right now. We're definitely needing some rain, which we are actually getting right now. So possibly I might have to dive over and grab an umbrella during this video. We'll see. Hopefully it stays nice and light. So let me just quickly switch over here to the other side of your camera. So right here, this is our turf. And this is what this entire corridor looked like before. And as you can see, it's just a lawn. Got mowed lots and lots of times a year. Not a lot of diversity, not a lot of habitat for animals. But this is how most of the corridor was. I'm just gonna pause for a sec, and if you can hear me loud and clear, give me a couple of thumbs up so I know everything's working well. And so when we started this project, we started the creation of the meadow. So I'm going to try a little magic trick here, okay? So this is what we started with, and now we have this. So this is the meadow. Okay, so this is one of the older sections of the Meadoway. Come on, camera. This was started about 5 years ago, and it takes a long time for it to establish. And unfortunately, it's not as easy as the magic I just showed you, turning it from turf into the amazing meadow that we saw there. It takes a lot of effort, and that's what our team is working on. Currently, we're working primarily down between Kennedy Road and Victoria Park, and that area is undergoing what's called site prep. If you go back to a few other videos, you may see the explanation of how we do the site preparation. And that includes things like mowing the turf as it was, tilling it under, and then putting down cover crops. And we repeat that process a few times, and that helps us get rid of all the weeds that are in the ground. So in that section from Vic Park to Eglinton, which is about 25 hectares, we've done one full round of the tilling and seeding this year with the oats. And we put down about 2,000 kilograms of oats. And we're going to continue that process through most of the summer. We're on a bit of a pause right now because it's been so dry that we need to get some moisture in the soil before we can continue to till it. We've also completed the section farther west of that from Bermondsey all the way up to Eglinton. That was prepped last year, and we've already put down the native seed this spring. So it has started to germinate, and later in the summer some of the new native seeds will start to pop up, and we should see some new wildflowers starting to appear. They won't look quite like this just yet, because it takes a little bit of time for these to establish, because the first year a lot of the growth goes into their roots and not much of the actual flower will appear that first year. But starting next year, that section should start to look pretty good. So I wanted to just quickly take you on a quick tour here and talk about some of the other features of the Meadoway, because we are really interested in the meadow itself, but we also have other features that make it more of a community project. So this turf area here that I was walking along, this is one of those areas, and this is what's called the buffer mow area. So we have these buffers that run along our path, okay, and they give that sort of open space on either side of the trail, creating good sight lines, as you can see around the bend there. We also have them along the edges of roads and around properties. So as I'm walking out here to the street, it's to show you a couple other things. Here you come across our COVID-19 sign. So if you're out on site and you see one of these signs, that means that myself and or some of our crew are out doing some work. And we're very happy to speak to you. We just need to make sure we maintain our physical distance. So if you're on the trail, give us a wave, and we can then pop over and explain questions, answer questions. We're always very happy to do that as well. So if you see one of these and you want to speak to us, just give us a wave, and we'll be happy to walk over. So I'm just walking down here to the street, and this is another feature that I want to show you quickly. And that is this trail system that is running right through the corridor. But it's also the crossing that we have here. And you'll notice the pavement color changes at the crossing here. And that's just to help notify traffic that there is a crossing here. So part of the Meadoway project includes creating this trail that's going to link all the way from the Rouge all the way to the Dawn. So there's about 6 kilometers of trail that is not yet complete. So that is something that we're working on, and figuring out how to continue these crossings to make them as safe as possible. There's another feature right over here that I wanted to show you. And I'm not going to hop across the street because I just want to be as safe as possible. But right there is the Daventry garden plots. So that is a community garden. So the community garden is set up in such a way that you can essentially lease a little plot of land from the city, and gives you a good opportunity to grow your own food. And the nice thing about the community garden is it's right next to the meadow, so it gives a good opportunity for people to be close to and enjoying the meadow, but also for the pollinators that are in the meadow to also then work to help pollinate their food crops. As we walked along here, I want to mention there's the Daventry Gardens. This is where we are now. There's also 2 other community gardens in the Meadoway project. We have another one down at Jonesville and another one at Givendale. So there's already 3 of these community gardens heavily involved in the corridor as part of the project. So I just walked over here. I want to show you this sign really quickly. So these are the signs you will see around the corridor. They're really useful, give you a lot of information. 2 things I wanted to point out on this. One, right here, is now a QR code on some of the signs. In the section we're in now, which is the oldest section running from Scarborough Golf Club Road down to Thompson Park. You'll see these QR codes, and if you scan those with your phone, it'll send you to a link for a bunch of nice videos and other information about the project. The other thing I wanted to show you was right here, and that's this image showing all the vegetation and how deep these roots are. Compared to right there, that's your turf grass. So if we look at right here, we have our turf grass. What color is it? It's yellow. Yeah, we haven't had much rain, so the grass has pretty much died. But if I look just over here to my left, we see the meadow. It is very much green still. Okay, and that's because these meadow plants have those really deep roots. So they're able to get down into where the water is more easily, and they're very good at collecting water. Okay. There's one other feature I wanted to show you as we sort of walk over into the meadow here, and that is right up over there. Okay, that is a school, and there are a lot of schools that are on the corridor, and that gives a really good opportunity for education and community involvement within the corridor. The students that leave from that school every day will walk, a lot of them, along the edge of the meadow, down, and right along and out the trail here, out to Daventry Road. Okay, we also do a lot of work within the schools. We have an education department that does get into the schools, and they have a program where they actually plant seedlings in the school classrooms, and most years they're able to bring the groups out and plant them into the meadow. Hopefully by next year we can get back to a little bit more normal and we can keep that process going. So while I was talking there, I've kind of been slowly walking into the meadow, and I thought I'd show you this right here because I just found a bunch of bumblebees. Let's see if I can get in there so you can see them. There it is. He's digging in. Can you see it? So this is on wild bergamot, and it's a really beautiful purple flower. Oh, here's an even better one. It's closer. This flower is really nice. It's got a really nice scent to it. If you touch one of the leaves and you just kind of give it a little rub, you can really smell the nice smell. Another thing that's kind of interesting, and I just noticed this earlier, that if you look right sort of from this angle, you see here's the purple flowers, but you see all these stems here, and those are last year's flowers. So they're a little bit taller, so they are still growing. But it's nice to see that we still have a lot of this standing stock here, because a lot of these stems are hollow or have a very soft inside, and that allows things like insects to burrow into these stems and use them for overwintering. By the way, I forgot to mention, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask them. I'll leave a little bit of time at the end so I can hopefully answer a few of your questions. And we'll get to those in a few minutes, but I wanted to show you a few more nice things, give you a good tour here. So if some of you saw the live that Paul did about 5 or 6 weeks ago, you would have noticed that a lot of this vegetation was about up to his knee. And let me just show you here, because these flowers now are closer to my chest height. Okay, and this is not one of the tallest ones either. Here, some of these are even taller over here. There we go. See, these ones are right up to my shoulder already. Okay, so they're about 5 feet already, and they're only going to get taller. There's a number of species in here. You can see some of the older stems from last year right up in here, and some of those are like the tall sunflower, and those are going to get up to 8 or 9 feet tall. So these yellow flowers, these are the false sunflower, or a sweet oxeye. They've got a beautiful bright yellow flower, and those are the ones that are primarily blooming around here at the moment. Most of the yellow ones. There are some other yellow ones. Let me just walk on through here and see if we can find some more. Can anyone hear the birds out there? You might not be able to hear it as well through the video, but there are a bunch of birds chirping over. Just over that way somewhere. Oh! Did you see that? A couple birds just popped right out. So the meadow habitat is really important for insects. It's important for birds, because a lot of them do actually nest in here, but also for the pollinators, as we saw, a lot of the bumblebees. There's, oh, there they go. A lot of butterflies around sometimes. I don't see too many today, but it could be because it's raining a little bit. Let's pop in here just a little farther. Oh, here's another flower that I really like. This is not the best example. It's starting to fade a little bit. It's been in bloom for a couple weeks already. This bright colored one. This is a butterfly milkweed. I really like these ones. Anyone know why I really like these ones? That's right, because they're orange. They're one of the few flowers that are out here that are actually a bright orange color. Oh, there's another one. So this is a nice angle. You get to really see the scale of how large these meadows go, because they really do continue on. You can see just over there, you might be able to see, there's a couple of signs just poking up. That's where the trail goes across and cuts through the middle of the meadow there. And over this way, you see there's a little bit of a taller vegetation there, and that is a shrub node. So within the corridor, it's mostly meadow, but there are some areas where there's some shrubs as well. And these are really useful for the birds for habitat as well. They create a lot of berries, additional food. But we have very specific species that have to be used for within there because, of course, we're under the hydro corridor. So we can't grow anything that's tall. So all the species that do get planted are a nice short species. Okay. Well, I think that's about as far as I'm going to go on the tour. It is starting to rain a little bit more. So if anyone does have any questions, let me know and I'll be happy to answer a couple. And I'm just going to keep walking through here and let you enjoy the scenery as I walk out of here. Okay, so I got a question from James. He's wondering if we've considered involving the community gardeners in growing some of the plants for the Meadoway. You know, I don't know the answer to that. I think that would be a great idea. Getting more community involved in any aspect of a project is always really interesting and really beneficial. So I would like to look into that some more. For the most part, as far as I can tell at least, most people who rent the plots primarily are growing food crops, but I don't see why some of them wouldn't be interested in potentially participating and getting involved. So that's something I'd like to look into a little farther. Okay, so I think that's about as far as I'm going to go for today. It looks like it's starting to rain a little bit harder right now. I wanted to thank you for joining me. I'll give you one last shot of the meadow here before we say goodbye. But please do come on out and take a walk down the corridor here. You'll enjoy the view, enjoy the nature, enjoy the sounds, and the best part is it's only going to keep getting better. All right, thanks very much. Have a great day.